Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot and a red state, utilizing Tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be WTF SCOTUS. Okay, so I did a series of readings back in the spring, and it was like the health of, the health of the Democratic Party, which was okay except for leadership. And I'm probably going to be doing another look in on that at some point. The health of the Republicans and the health of the courts, which I got back then that the lower courts were going to be doing okay. The Supreme Court, was doing okay at the time ish. Because remember, there was a time whenever we had at least a 9-0 ruling that, due process is kind of a thing. So that was nice that they affirmed that. But ever since then, there has been a shift in the Supreme Court. And because they had that like 9-0, and how sad is it that everybody was shocked that they affirmed due process 9-0. So, but then after that, they now have been overturning these lower courts and carving out these exceptions for this regime. And it's like, what the hell? Like, seriously. So I want to look into kind of like why that shift. Thomas and Alito, we already know. Everything that's publicly available, they're corrupt as fuck. And so I don't even know that I want to look into them specifically, but like the rest of the court, like those other justices, which I guess I'm narrowing that down to Chief Justice Roberts, Amy Coney Barrett, the beer guy who's Kavanaugh, and Gorish, whatever. So those are kind of the four I want to look at into like what is like seriously what the hell is going on, and then I am going to ask specifically into Lisa Cook, and being able to stay as a board member on the Federal Reserve. Okay, because that would be very, 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 very bad for our economy if the Supreme Court does not uphold her right to stay on the board. So, with all of that being said, I just want to do a base reading into, like WTF SCOTUS. And as I said, it's really, I'm kind of looking at those four specific justices. What is going on? Like, they seemed like they were going to possibly uphold the Constitution, and now they're carving out all these exceptions again. So what is it that we need to know about the Supreme Court? What do we need to know about the Supreme Court? Okay. As always, this is for entertainment purposes only. So the Supreme Court, what do we need to know? The Death card. This just means major transformation. Okay, one thing has to end so a new thing can begin. I'm really hoping that the old one thing to end is not our democracy for an authoritarian takeover. Okay, we're going to keep doing readings and also putting cards out. Also, while I'm thinking about it, this is the deck I'm using today, my Radiant, Radiant Wise Tarot. And the cards are a little bit thicker, so they're a little bit hard to shuffle, but I really like the image here. They're just really pretty. The challenge to this transformation is going to be and I'm almost feeling like this is Chief Justice Roberts. I wonder why is he the challenge to this? Let me keep going. Something coming to an end. There's like a lot of ending energy here. And the foundation is going to be, Mad King Don here, the Emperor. I also wonder, because I have been getting this as Putin. I wonder, this would be very concerning if he is the foundation of this reading about the Supreme Court, but I'll keep going. And it could be like Chief Justice Roberts and the messaging in the past, trying to be I was getting ready to say in the past, trying to be fair, and that would be like in the way past, before this, because I'm not seeing this is like giving Trump everything that he wants, but then you get these ending cards. So let me see here. The outcome, bully wand. Okay. I am going to rearrange these. The foundation and the victory, the messaging. I wonder with this, it's definitely messaging coming out, and it's almost like this feeling of supporting Russia with their, like, by supporting Trump, they're supporting Russia. And I'm wondering, like, this coming to an end. What is this coming to an end? Okay, and coming to an end, betrayal, feeling left out in the cold, and having something offered. Okay. I am not going to commit 100% to a Russia connection here, and part of that is because I just be like, do I really want to know if Russia has compromised our Supreme Court? No, I really don't want to know this. But this could also be those wealthy men, oligarchs that have, like gotten to Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito. Like that might be, like that's more the feeling I'm getting. Those ties have definitely influenced the court. And so and then like you get this ending, like that is going to come to an end. And it's almost like this feeling I get when the people, are tired of this, but we're not tired enough. Like we just got to wait. This is also, the Supreme Court also seems to like want to look at things in a different way. They're carving out those exceptions for Trump. So if I'm looking at this, what's going on with the Supreme Court? I think that this is those wealthy donors who have influenced our courts. And that now the betrayal to the common people. Okay, there we go. The betrayal to the common people, and that they're no longer working like for the betterment of our country and for the people. They're doing what they're looking at things in a different way, and it's for these wealthy oligarchs and these donors. So that's what's going on. Well, isn't that nice? Not really. So I want to know about, because that does not give me hope about Lisa Cook here with the Supreme Court. What are they going to do about allowing Trump to fire her? Now, real quick, on wanting to fire her, there's been a stay put on that she could, a lower court has said she can stay until her lawsuit, goes through the courts. Trump is wanting to remove her from the board for mortgage fraud, which it's not. I've already gone through that. It's not a thing. I mean, there's people in Trump's own cabinet that have done this, and it's not an illegal thing, but yet he's trying to use it. She's not been convicted, and so for the court to allow him to remove her based on not even being convicted, that's very worrisome on many levels, okay? So that's kind of why I want to ask here real quick, like, are they, like, as corrupt as what it appears that they are they going to be allowing Trump to take over, the Federal Reserve? I know those cards just flipped out. This is what kind of came out, but I'm not going to read these because this deck really is kind of a hard deck to shuffle. So I think that was more reader error than just cards flipping out. So are they going to allow him to fire Lisa Cook? Okay, and with firing Lisa Cook, decisions, action, and the government, the challenge is the action that he's wanting to take. Yep, the action that he is wanting to take. He embodies the government. This is also those wealthy men, and they're wanting lower interest rates. So they would probably really like to see Trump take over. Working on this. This is something they're working on. Shine me a light into the dark. Show me the law that I can manipulate, and holding on to political power. I honestly get the feeling with all of this, like they're trying to hold on to power, that they, and with this action and the challenges that it's for the government, it's for Donald Trump, it's for these wealthy people that are wanting the interest rates lowered. So if this makes it up to the Supreme Court, I think that they will allow him to actually do this. When what can we, I know when is kind of a, I don't want to ask when, because time and tarot. So what can we expect? Is Trump going to try to fast track this to the Supreme Court? As far as fast tracking, keeping things hidden, hopes, wishes, and dreams, this is what he really wants, and it's like it's being kept from him, and they're not going to commit to it. I don't think that I think that they're going to allow this to work its way through the courts, because I'm getting the feeling like they really would rather not do this, because I think like Chief Justice Roberts knows like this is corrupt, but I also get that, like I'm seeing Lisa Murkowski, we're terrified, and it's like, okay, if you're terrified, do something. That's the feeling I'm getting, and they're not. So they just kind of hope it goes. They're really hoping that he just, like, this goes away, like he gets distracted, he does something else. They don't really want to rule on it, but I'm getting like if it gets to them and they have to, ultimately, I think that they will allow him to do that, but I'm getting the feeling like they're trying to put it off. I know I get because you get like quickly, you have to wait. So it's almost like if he asks, they will give him a quick response of, you have to wait. You have to like let it go through the legal system first. And then you get, I usually get this as Pam Bondi, like telling Pam, you do your job and then we'll revisit what you've done. So they're going to kind of be trying to put him off. They don't want to have to make that decision. Okay, anything else that we need to know about SCOTUS here and giving Trump everything he wants? Yeah, it's like the Lovers Card agreements that they've made, going back and forth, the Balance Act that they do. It's like I get this feeling of, well, we have to act like we're not corrupt. It's like you're not fooling anybody. Okay, if you have to use philosophy, the words of a 13th century philosopher to justify taking away women's rights, you're not doing a very good job hiding your corruption and looking out into they really need to be looking out into their future. They really should, because it's like once this is all said and done, I hope there needs to be Supreme Court reform for sure. Yeah, they're just like, what are they going to do? Who knows? Things are up in the air. We don't know what they're going to do. They really keep things, that shadow docket is something I'm kind of feeling that with this. Don't understand enough about that to actually, have much comment, but I feel like I'm feeling shadow docket, leaving things up in the air. This is the Balance Act, and Trump really is a burden. Well, good. He's a burden to all of us. Do something. That's really the feeling. Stop giving him everything he wants. But I feel like they really, I just get this feeling like they're terrified. And it's not going to be until, he's no longer in office before they actually do anything. So a little bit shorter reading today. What I'm getting with the Supreme Court is, yeah, they're corrupt. like we needed any reading for that. That was kind of, common sense moment there. But what I'm getting is it's like those wealthy donors who had just kind of seemed to focus on Alito and Thomas. They've now expanded to those other four. I get the feeling from Chief Justice Roberts, like he's trying to appear like they're not corrupt, and it's like, dude, you're not doing a good job fooling anybody. Everybody knows. And that as far as Lisa Cook goes, he knows what would happen if Trump took over. So it's like this feeling of telling Pam Bondi, which I see, like the Justice Department or the DOJ, we're not going to take this, let it work its way through. But ultimately, if this does get to them, I do feel like they would give Trump what he wants. Because now apparently, racial profiling and arresting someone because they're speaking Spanish is allowed. So at that point, it's like, I don't even know that I could do any more readings on the Supreme Court in that, I think that they're going to give Trump what he wants. Anything that they don't give him, it's like, it's this feeling of like, well, this is a minor thing, so it doesn't appear like we're as corrupt as what we are. Like that, like we're going to give you crumbs. We're going to give the people crumbs and then save our big stuff for, for Trump. So that's kind of the feeling I'm getting with that. There's going to be so much work to do after this regime is done. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I'll use the good news deck next time, but man, it's not looking too good there with SCOTUS. So anyway, I'll put another reading up here for you to check out. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next reading where I will use the good news deck. So have a good day.